I was telling you that all my life I created buildings.
Yeah.
The idea of community, bringing together, the upper lofts. I did another building where I did a mall, 15 stores, and it made changed the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Now, but then I believe in God, but as opposed to believe, I understand the whole concept. So, because when I didn't believe, I walked away. Because I don't believe, it has to make sense. Belief is only after you understand, you keep it, you go with it, even like you go into it full belief.
You challenge it, even you said.
I challenged everything because it has to make sense to me.
Yeah.
But now I know God. I know, and I live it. I live Him. And so I that's how I think about it. God is creating God is consciousness, and He's creating all kinds of consciousness for Himself, all kinds of profiles, and enjoying the whole chess game. And the chess game is when it's not going to be wars, silly wars. It's going to be fun, but people are going to create, and it's all Him. He's creating His imagination. He's moving. It's in a much stronger way. Now, so I see. So God created this profile, Myers-Schwartz, right? This consciousness. It's also one of His profiles, and that I'm admiring it because He gave him the opportunity to create this app. What's this app? See, because look, I see the problems in the world are basically, you could look at it in three parts. It's one problem, but it's three parts. One is, in order to thrive, in order to survive and thrive, you need to work. And work is mostly things that it's not what you want to do. It's not you want to do this, you want to get to there, right? This, and it's hard, you have to create energy. Somehow, that's the reality. That's step number one, and that's most of your life. Most of people's lives go away for that. That's a terrible thing. Number two, finally, you worked already, and now you want to buy yourself a house, car, clothing, everything. You go to a person to buy a car, not a used car, salesman, that's the worst, but you get a new car. Every car manufacturer knows how much can I get out of this person. Every car dealer knows how much he's a rich guy, he's gonna, and you, me, I think how little can I pay this person? It's a war. Everybody wants for themselves. Why? Because they want to keep the energy for themselves, to have pleasure, because that's what the goal is, right? Okay, so they finally have their car, their yacht, and everything, and there's no pleasure. There's no pleasure. There's like, what do you do in the yacht again and again? Where is the pleasure? And I used to say this always, and I knew this from my life and from understanding, but lately I bumped into a YouTube clip from Elon Musk. Someone's on an interview. He's asking me, put it in, do you want to be me, Elon Musk?
Do you want to be me?
Yeah. You don't want to be me.
Oh, you don't want to be me?
No, it's good. It's not it. I don't think.
And where he tells about his...
No, it's not this one. Not this.
If you had an advice to the young people globally who want to be like Elon Musk, what's the advice to them?
I think that probably they shouldn't want to be you. I think it sounds better than
Richest man.
Hey, goeiedag. Mag je even niet zijn?
The richest man in the world.
Yeah, it's
the most successful man. Companies. Not.
It's definitely, it could be worse for sure, but it's.
One second. Somebody again, I'll second.
Okay, sure.
I'm not sure I'm not sure I want to be me.
What? I'm not sure I want to be me. Stop. Most successful person has companies. It's not he inherited money. He created it. PayPal. Oh, he's the richest person in the world. I don't want to be me. Bankrupt. This system is bankrupt. There is no pleasure. He made all the money. He doesn't know what to do with it. He doesn't have a good life. So that's the problem. So a world like this, and there's no pleasure, that's what we want. doesn't want to be himself. The richest person, then obviously you're going to have fights, power, because then the only other thing that a person could do is say, you know what, I'm going to own another country. I'm going to attack it, I'm going to take all the oil and all the pieces. In Afghanistan, you have those supercomputers. There's an element for semiconductors that Afghanistan has.
Really?
Yes.
The raw material.
Yes. And
Oh, that's why they.
Yes.
Really, I didn't know Afghanistan had.
Look it up. So, just more and more. And they don't enjoy it.
No.
Because if they're fighting, they're not enjoying it. I don't enjoy when I fight. I know I have to enjoy it. I enjoy myself. I want to be me. I tell everybody, be me, because I want to be more fun, more pleasure. So that's the problem with the world.
No.
You work like not for which you don't like most of your life. You fight to get the stuff, and finally when you have it, you don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
What's the core of the problem? What's the problem with that? Here's the reason. The reason is it's boring. Yeah. Girl. Okay, same. Song. Musical notes are 8 boring notes. That's it. But you combine it, it becomes the most beautiful song in the world.
Yeah.
Combine it. You make all kinds of different combinations. That's what we need. We need experiences that we can actually create stories from.
Yeah.
This shouldn't end here, and then we have another thing over there. That's like musical notes. Boom. We have to have a platform that will make us combine our experiences and create beautiful stories like songs. That's the answer.
Yeah.
And I have an app for that. It's not so complicated. We have to create, just like Instagram, even if their intention is money and all silliness, and not getting to, because money, look what Elon Musk comes to. It doesn't have it. That's not the place. But they still created a lot of foodies, a lot of photographers, because you gave a platform where to express it.
Yeah.
Here's the app, simple idea. Subscribers, everybody's part of it, everybody has a profile. So you can't write your own profile, other people write a profile for you. So see how. The game of the app is I offer for people experiences. I come into you, I say, look, I love this beautiful place. I would love to tell you about my life. Because you could create a beautiful environment. I'll give you just one example that's happening right now. Or if I walk down the street and I see someone playing guitar, I say, hey, I do vocals beautifully. I would love to have a jam together with you and have it and keep it. But here's how the game goes. Instead of that, you can see online what people do and so on based on their profile, which I'll explain.
Yeah.
And I offer, the app goes, you offer a person an experience. You say, look, I saw what you're doing, but you don't just offer an experience. What you're seeing, what they're doing, is what someone else wrote about them, what they had with them. You're offering, I have a way to continue that experience. We're creating the continuations of experiences. So now, I'm offering you, I saw that you have a clothing store, and I also saw, so I said, I would love the clothing, but let's do it in a park. Let's take it in another place. Let's go further with it, continue the story in a different way, build on the story. Like an author builds a story which becomes much more interesting than a paragraph. Creates stories, becomes deep and exciting, and we're creating the whole time new, and that's how we create new, because we're connecting two things and we don't even know how it's going to come. We had this conversation, I had no idea how it's going to lead to such beautiful places. So I offer you an experience, and the deal is when I offer to someone, you document it, meaning you set up the camera, or after that, you give it back to me on my profile in a beautiful way that people are going to want to continue it. And the better you do that, people are going to see, wow, I want to meet him and can make stories with him, so you're going to get beautiful experiences, right? So you have an incentive to write it well, to document it with a nice song, to know, let me put lighting, let me put this to make it nice, right? I have an incentive, obviously, that it gets out beautifully, because then it becomes in my profile, and when someone wants to continue that story, they offer me the experience. This story is mine, because it's my vision. You put it into the world, you helped me, so everyone knows you're a good person to offer experiences for, but this particular experience goes into my profile, and if someone wants to continue this song, they continue with me. So what happens is now, I offer to you, I saw you playing guitar, we were creating the vocals. We're creating a beautiful piece. It's creating. It's not just chilling, it's chilling productively. We're producing, and the whole production, creative production of the world, which is everything. An iPhone, everything is will go through this app. This is the new way. Money is going to be obsolete, because money, the concept of money is, we found something that is limited, and only I have and not you, and that's how we could use it as a barter tool. And so we, instead of realizing that our experiences are exponential, that it goes in all kinds of different directions. It's not limited to $1 and the limit. It's opening it up. It's X kiss. It's where by putting two Ks together, it becomes another two Ks.
Yeah.
Because by kissing, by the real good connection, you create another connection, another connection.
It would be the first altruistic act, basically, because you change someone else's life.
But it's not altruistic for one reason. Because the reason is because I want to live in that world. Because it's fun. I always say, I'm telling everyone, you want to make it? Be my guest. I just want to live in that world that has this app, because I know how this world is going to be. It's going to be, as once somebody told me, with the app, he said, we're talking then of the Taliban and stuff. The Taliban people at their meeting, terrorist meeting, they can say, wait, I got an experience offer, I'm out. And then everyone say, what the flip? Why am I busy killing people? I can have fun.
well, actually, it is a lot, yeah. It might change the course of people's lives.
It will, because the world is not wrong, it's run by power. But you know what the power is? Narratives. The guns are the power that create a narrative. But it's a narrative that rules the world. Narratives rule. And like, for example, Russia did the most normal thing, saying, "Don't Ukraine, don't become part of NATO. Don't." U.S. did the same thing with Cuba. Cuba put in 1962 two missile launchers. They threatened with a nuclear war. Because don't put in my backyard things that are going to hurt me. Like, I'm not letting it.
Yeah.
Same thing, he was afraid of that. And exactly what happened.
Decades old agreement.
Yeah, they what?
And the agreement was decades old.
Yes, and they didn't accept it and so on. They didn't do it because he asked for security, and that's what they had to fool the Ukrainian people that there's not going to be a war, because otherwise they would say, write the document. If a guy comes to me and says, I'm going to chop off your fingers if you don't sign a document that you're not going to let this big guy come into this house. Big deal, I signed, I give away my shirt, my pants, I give away not to die. Why does hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians die? For what reason? There's no logic.
Yeah.
It's a narrative. They treat it, Putin's bad, he wants to aggress him, and the US is helping the Ukrainians. Using the Ukrainians, hundreds of billions of dollars. So it's narrative. The U.S. is allowed to bomb cities. The only entity that used the atom bomb twice.
And
you know why? Japan was ready to surrender.
Yeah.
They weren't ready to surrender unconditionally. So for that, they're giving up the war. Stop! I'm not fighting anymore. No. If you're not giving up everything, you're totally non-existent. I'm going to destroy 100,000 people in a
I only read about that weeks ago.
Wow.
And I was astonished by, and we shouldn't be surprised, and in the narrative.
Narrative. That's what it is, and that's the biggest mistake Israel is doing. Israel thinks they're using guns, they're fighting with guns. You have to fight a narrative. You're using the guns to kill your narrative.
Yeah.
Israel is what are they doing now? They're creating a narrative of hate against them in the whole world. Where's your logic? You're smart. Don't be stupid. I'm not altruistic, but be smart. The fight is the narrative. The fight isn't the guns.
So rather than saying,
the best thing I would do, I would come in, I would say, guys, we are stopping the cycle of violence. We're going to protect our place. We're not hurting a soul, only protecting. That changes the understanding of what an Israeli, what a Jewish person is in the world.
No.
Not somebody that wants to kill. That's what they created. Let us change the true narrative. And then we will also have a narrative of, wait a second, is this the land that, according to history, forget about the Bible, Jewish people lived here for at least 1,500 years. And they owned the land. They were kicked out. So, but it's mine. Ownership doesn't have an expiration date. I never knew that if I owned something, after a amount of years, it's not mine anymore. Every day, me, the Jewish people, were walking around in different countries. They were killing us, torturing us. Every day we said 10 times a day, we are going back to Israel. It's our land. God is going to give it back to us. And it's part of an article of the faith that you have to, that if you don't believe, if someone wants to kill you, or you accept that you're never going back to the Messiah is not coming, you should rather let yourself be dead. Because what kind of world are we living in when a world where it's only destruction? It's the most crazy world to live in. It's not even a world. It could only be when you have a dream of the right world. So we have the law that you have to rather, if someone says, if you really want to be convinced that it's not going to happen, rather die. So this is our dream. We never gave up. We never gave away that land. What did the person, the Palestinian, whoever, a few hundred years ago decided to come into my land? Why? He knew that Israel, the Jews, it's our dream. He thought that we're going to give up our 2,000-year dream. Why?
Yeah.
Why? There isn't enough place in the world. There isn't enough. Why walk into my place? And finally, imagine I have a car. My car, they stole it from me. Every day I'm begging. I'm cold. I'm freezing. My fingers are numb or are frozen, and I beg. Finally, I'm able to take people out, and I go in, and they tell me, you're a thief. Look, you threw out that person. You're a bad person. You're a racist. You're an apartheid state. It's insane. It's a narrative. There's powers that create this narrative because it doesn't make sense. The blood libels of middle is a lot more sensible than this kind of narrative. The blood libels, you tell a story that the Jewish people like to eat blood. Okay, it doesn't make sense, but at least here it's obvious. What are you talking about? It's ownership. They owned it. They own it. They said every day it's mine, and we were standing there every day, and all of a sudden, and they're suffering all over, and all of a sudden they finally have it. They're saying, you're horrible because you took it away from them. It's theirs. Yeah. It's against every logic. But it's a narrative that's created, and we want to create, that's what I'm saying. Things are going to change. It's a new narrative. Why? Because we have a way that's actually going to change the world for the better. If people don't like narratives, where am I going to get? So, Jews are bad, who cares? But when the narrative is that by doing this, we're going to create this app. So if I come in and say, look, we're changing the whole thing. Jews are not about that. You know what we want to do? We want to create this app to change the world. This will change the world. This is a simple little thing. And, I already changed neighborhoods. I already changed standards of life. Living, according to...
It is indeed. It is, yeah. Now you summarize it. It indeed is like a culmination, how do you say that in English?
Culmination, yeah.
Of what you have been doing since 03, as you have mentioned. Was quite groundbreaking.
Actually, since 99, because 99 I built the first building, my first thing in Williamsburg, the famous Williamsburg, which is the most expensive neighborhood, even more than Manhattan. Yeah. It was an empty place there, was nothing. And I decided to go all out. I made a mini mall with 15 artsy stores. That's like the New York Times.
Fantastic. In 99?
99.
You were already...
And then what I did was, by that, I established a reality. Because when you create a neighborhood, people have to see that it's real. So you know what you do? You make it happen. You create 15 stores of all kinds of different artistic stores that people say, oh, the artist neighborhood is existent. Yeah. And that's what makes it happen. That's how it happens. Yeah. It's called the concept in Talmud, which is one of our amazing books the Jewish people have.
And Talmud?
Talmud it's called. Talmud. Talmud. Talmud.
Yeah.
No, this is not this. This is the Babylonian Talmud. This is amazing work. Unbelievable. Mind-blowing work of a whole group of people, many years, sages. Very, very interesting book. Most amazing kind of different reality kind of book. Amazing stuff. So there, they have one of the ideas. It's a law book, but not only a law book, everything together. And it's a lot of conversations, a lot of intellectual conversations, back and forth, arguing and stories, and very interesting. And so one of their issues, like for example, are that when there were slaves in those days, and you're giving the slave the right to freedom. So you're giving them a piece of paper that the right to freedom.
Yeah.
Now, legalistically, the problem is that the person, to get it, to become free, he has to accept the document. Has to go into his hand. Now, the problem is that until he doesn't accept the document, his hand is considered the hand of his owner.
Yeah.
So the question is, how does it happen that you could put it into his hand, but his hand is still the owner's hand? So how does it happen that he could become free?
Because it's not his hand.
It's not sentient. His hand has to accept it. So the Talmud language is his hand and his certificate come together. That's the concept.
Can you explain it to me?
His hand and his certificate, his document of freedom, come at the same time. That we look at it as happening simultaneously.
So it gives him the hand to accept the
document of freedom, which means, like I will give you an example, creating stores that create the neighborhood, and the stores are already good for it already, because then it makes sense to have these stores. Before creating those stores, it wasn't yet ready to accept these kind of stores. But by creating these stores, that's how we create our freedom. It means in everything, that's the concept. It's a broader concept, not only legal. That's what I'm saying, that the Talmud, it's not only the legal part, we use it then for a much deeper way of seeing life. How are we creating our reality? That it happens together, by making it.
Yeah.
By making it, yes.
So the hand is the certificate, and so let's say the 50 mini-marts are the neighborhood, are the the arts, makes the art neighborhood.
Makes the art neighborhood, and that's how it's a neighborhood. So I'm saying, God has created this profile, and I'm enjoying it. I'm watching Meyer Schwartz do what God wants him to do, and I'm enjoying the trip, the ride.
But interesting that you call it profiles. Is it something? It's very clear to everyone, but indeed, we are all a profile or a persona.
Yeah.
But interesting that someone actually says, God creates profiles, but indeed, everyone has a character and a background and opportunities and.
Think about it. This is another mistake. One of the many mistakes of the silly world that people just don't think when they're busy fighting. From the scientific perspective, is.
Can I get you another coffee? Sorry.
No. Good. Thank you. From the scientific perspective, we have this thing that materialism, philosophical materialism, everything is material. Then there's the soul that you believe in, you don't believe in, you're not sure, and so on. But think about it. What people don't get. It's so beautiful and obvious. Imagine a beautiful palace, like the most amazing art. And there's a king in there, and he has dancers, and they're all dancing beautifully to the music. Beautiful clothing. You have that image, that whole movie? You're seeing it? Okay, stop. Now, where did this image, this movie that you just had transpire? Where? You really think that in your head we have neurons that actually created an image, and you have an eye that's watching that image? No. So what happened? Obviously, a second ago you didn't have the image, and now you have it. So something happened. But where did it happen? No place. Our imagination exists not in space, but it's real. Because you could tell me details of the imagination. It happened. Dreams. Yeah. But it's real. It's a reality. We take it away, but it's not physical. So what? But it's reality, and that's my thoughts. Yeah. That's me. That's my eye. That's my soul. It's not the body. The body is just a drone. Now, and that's also part of the way of understanding the world in a different way. And when we get that, we realize that we're profiles. We are this body. It's like, imagine if you would be laying in a room, sleeping, and with scientific magic, we connect with electrodes, your eyes, your ears, to sense everything that this drone is sensing. This drone's flying around. So you're hearing the sound as if you're flying, you're seeing as if you're flying, you're feeling as if you're flying, right? Yeah. And you don't know about that. You're laying here and you wake up and all of a sudden, this is what you have. You are going to be 100% that you're flying now.
Yeah.
You are going to be here. That's all. We are not here. Our drone, this drone, has all the senses, and we are taking information, but us is not physical. We're not in space. It's not like this power is something inside me. It's using this drone. It's an understanding. It's a deeper understanding. I think you get it to an extent. Yeah, I have to understand better. But so the point is, this is all understandings that changes the way we understand the world. It's seeing the core of non-physical, of unlimited. And why is that so important? It's important for pleasure. Because, I'll give you an example. I love to take massages. And a massage, why? Typically massage, people think it's like this. You have pleasure here, and now you have pleasure here, and now you have pleasure here. I don't have pleasure here. Pleasure is my consciousness has pleasure. My finger doesn't, my nail doesn't have pleasure, and this doesn't have pleasure. It's me that has pleasure.
Yeah.
It's like when a person, and it's only because this causes it. Just like strings of guitar causes my emotion. I'm not the strings, I'm the emotion. The strings cause it, but we allocate the pleasure that we have in a space. It is here because this is what causes it, and we put it there. Just like a puppet, a ventriloquist, we think it's here because we see certain movements, we allocate it here. But I don't. I was able to isolate it. So when I have this pleasure, I have it. I keep it.
Yeah.
And then the next one, it's on top of that. It's connection that creates new. So I have new kinds of pleasures constantly. So by seeing the world in its real way, we are able to find the real reason for the world, which is pleasure, and enjoy it. So that's one of the ideas.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yes.
And interesting doesn't convey my appreciation for
Thank you.
for what you said.
I want to tell you, you're an amazing person to get over to talk to.
Thank you so much. What you just described, there was a guest on Bill Maher,
Yeah.
and also explaining, the concept of pleasure, the concept of body, and you say, your hand doesn't have pleasure, but it's you who has pleasure. Like my hand, so it's something that is yours, but is not you.
It's nothing. It's just a piece of, this is philosophy. But then I also prove it with science. But the scientists don't even know, they're silly people, they don't even know what to look for empirically. But there's an empirical reality that amputees, people get amputated.
They feel
phantom limb pain in their ear. And no one understands how could pain, where is the pain? Because if pain is physical, it has to be in the body. How could it be here?
Yeah.
How could it be in the ear? It doesn't make sense. But I explain it because the pain is anyways in your consciousness. Just like your thoughts are nowhere, your pain is nowhere.
Yeah.
And you are just allocating it, you're projecting it. So you're projecting it on the ear. What's the difference? If you're so used to projecting it on your hand and now you don't have it, your mind sort of projects it further on the ear. But being that pain is not physical, if according to the typical understanding that the pain is something that's here, that's happening, nerve. So then what's here? But if pain is me and I'm just pointing, I could somehow think that my pain is here because this is just as much the same as something else.
Okay.
See, they don't even understand how to use empirical evidence.
Yeah.
So I'm saying we're totally due for a paradigm shift.
I would.
We're totally due for a paradigm shift, is what I'm saying. Yes.
But that is but how in what shape or form?
As I said, once we understand, we live our world that I want to experience my life, my reality, every moment from now on, from yesterday, whatever, where I see that I am telling this drone, this thing to move. I want to separate, I want to live, because then I will allocate, I will see it as separate, and I will know that pain and pleasure is not this. And then I'm in control of it. Then I own the pain, and the second I'm out of the pain, because I add a little pleasure to it, and it becomes a beautiful mix. And I had such a vision. I actually had an experience where I was able, I went into levels of pleasure, orgasmic pleasure, because I knew what I'm doing. I was totally understanding this concept.
In control of it.
That everything is consciousness. And it's me, it's consciousness, it's one consciousness. And not other, I didn't understand it as far as the world, but as far as myself. And I understood as far as the world, but I didn't yet understand that everything is part of one big consciousness in that way, in the real way. But as far as myself goes, I totally realized that pain and pleasure is me. So I right away started it's like I had a coloring book. I had, this is this sensation, I'm matching up. And it went like boom, 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 and it was phenomenal. I was able to do it for a few weeks after that, but it went less and less.
But out out of
nowhere, just because pleasure is a consciousness. This the guitar strings or the body is only a trigger.
Yeah.
The pleasure is, so if you get that consciousness, you have it. You could I was isolating it. Then I had just a vision. It was like a vision total. I had a big, amazing. It explained it to me when I was writing that blog, and I was thinking. And one night I had this amazing vision. It's a long story, and then I got this point that we're consciousness, and then being that. So pain and pleasure was. It was me. It wasn't. When we say here is pain, we say I can't control this. This is not me. But if I say pain is some kind of a thing, pink elephant. Okay, now I'm going to think about this glass. Boom! I don't think about the pink elephant anymore. So I could go away from the thing because it's just a decision that no one is in my consciousness. There's no one, only me. So no one can tell me you can't. I'm doing it. I'm just moving away from it. This consciousness of pain. I'm out of it. If you know it's a consciousness, so that's how we can control pain and pleasure and go to unlimited pleasures. But we want the world, not only consciousness. We want the props of the world and a lot of beauty to it. So that's the beautiful world.
I love how you always put like a conclusion to it, and then it's not like yeah, as in there's so much for you to explore. You know that laugh. I like it.
Thank you.
And just to answer, it really makes me think. And this conversation that we have is not, for me. It's not only like passing time or just like having a nice conversation, but these are things that and maybe not this deep, but I think that sometimes while driving, while doing whatever activity, staying at the beach or doing a hike, and comes to your mind like what else is there? Why is this as it is? With the limbs, I sometimes I think about phantom pain. I don't know why I think about it. But I'm like, oh, that's weird. Indeed, that people have it.
It's interesting that you right away knew when I'm saying that. You right away caught on to it. Yeah.
And sometimes you have thoughts that don't relate to anything, but like phantom pain. Weird. And now, many years later, you tell stories about it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Wonderful. Okay.
Yeah.
L'chaim, thank you. Thank you so much. Wing. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schwartz. Thank you so much.
Thank you.